Please don't rush past this. If your heart feels even slightly uneasy right now, that is not random. Have you noticed how you are still present in your life, but something inside you feels like it's slowly stepping back? You wake up, you go where you're supposed to go, you speak to who you're supposed to speak to, yet your peace feels missing. And you keep asking yourself, why do I feel like this? There is no clear reason. Nothing bad happened. My dear soul, what if Allah does not always warn you with pain? What if sometimes He warns you by quietly removing your peace? Because if He shouted, you might panic. If He pushed you, you might resist. So Allah whispers instead. And the people who feel this whisper are usually the ones Allah is preparing for something new. Stay with me, because before this reminder ends, you will understand why Allah made you uncomfortable. Before something broke inside you. When Allah removes peace before He removes the place, my dear brothers and sisters, sometimes Allah's mercy is so soft that if you are not paying attention, you may mistake it for confusion. Allah does not always remove you suddenly. He does not always shake your life. He does not always close doors with force. Because Allah knows the human heart. He knows that if something is taken away suddenly, you may punish, you may beg, you may chase it back, you may return out of fear, habit or attachment. So instead of removing the place, Allah gently removes something else. It removes your peace. You are still there. Your body still shows up. Your routine still continues. From the outside, nothing looks broken. But inside, your heart feels different. You sit in the same room, but your chest feels tight. You hear the same voices, but they no longer comfort you. You follow the same routine, but it feels empty. And this is confusing for many people because they say, nothing is wrong. There is no reason to feel this way. I should be grateful. But my dear soul, not every form of guidance comes through pain. Some guidance comes through restlessness. You begin to feel uneasy for no clear reason. You cannot explain it to others. Sometimes you cannot even explain it to yourself. You just know something inside you is no longer settled. You try to ignore it. You tell yourself to be patient. You tell yourself not to overthink, but the feeling remains. You laugh, yet something inside you feels heavy. You smile, yet your heart does not smile with you. This is not ingratitude. This is Allah preparing you gently. Allah knows that if He showed you the ending clearly, you would resist it. So He prepares you slowly. He lets the comfort fade. What once felt safe now feels tight. What once felt familiar now feels draining. What once felt like home now feels like a place you are only surviving in. And nothing dramatic happens. No betrayal you can point at. No argument you can explain. No loud warning. Just a quiet discomfort. My dear brothers and sisters, this is how Allah protects you without hurting you. He removes peace before He removes the place. If Allah wanted you to stay, your heart would rest there. Peace would return every time you entered that space. Your chest would feel light. Your soul would feel calm. But when Allah wants you to move, He allows peace to leave first. Not suddenly, not cruelly, slowly. So slowly that you begin to notice you no longer feel like yourself there. You start to feel tired more often. Not physical tiredness, but soul tiredness. You feel drained after being there. You feel quiet inside. You feel like something is missing, but you don't know what. You start sitting in silence more. Not because you want to, but because your heart has nothing left to give there. You stop looking forward to it. You stop feeling excited. You stop feeling connected. And this is important, my dear soul. Allah does not remove peace to punish you. He removes peace to save you. Because staying where peace has left will slowly damage your heart. You may begin to doubt yourself. You may begin to lose clarity. You may begin to feel spiritually heavy. And Allah loves you too much to let that happen. So He whispers instead of shouting. He makes your heart uncomfortable. So you can leave gently, without anger, without hatred, without regret. If Allah closed the door suddenly, you might chase it. But when peace leaves quietly, your heart naturally lets go. You do not fight. You do not force. You simply feel ready. And sometimes you don't even realize that Allah is guiding you. You think you are just tired. You think you are just confused. But Allah is working silently. He is teaching your heart that not every place is meant to be permanent. Some places are only meant to shape you, not keep you. Some environments are lessons, not destination. And Allah knows the exact moment when the lesson is complete. So He removes peace as a sign. My dear brothers and sisters, do not feel guilty when peace leaves. Do not force yourself to stay where your heart feels heavy. Allah never removes peace without replacing it somewhere else. But He replaces it only after you trust Him enough to move. Sometimes Allah does not push you out. He simply makes staying uncomfortable, so leaving becomes natural. And one day when you look back, you will not say, Allah took something from me. You will say, Allah saved me by slowly preparing my heart to leave. Let us continue gently, because this is a matter of the heart, and hearts do not heal through force. When Allah removes peace quietly, many people try to fight it. They say, let me try harder. Let me be more patient. Let me adjust myself. And patience is beautiful, but patience is not meant to trap you where Allah has already removed tranquility. There is a difference between being patient in hardship and being stubborn in misalignment. Allah does not test you by removing peace and then expect you to ignore the sign. Peace is a gift. When it leaves for a reason. My dear soul, notice how Allah removes peace gradually. At first, you feel small discomfort. You ignore it. Then the discomfort becomes a heaviness in the chest. You explain it away. Then it becomes a tiredness that sleep cannot fix. You call it stress. Then it becomes silence inside you. You stop sharing what you feel. And finally, it becomes distance. Not physical distance yet, but emotional distance. This is Allah protecting you step by step. Because if He removed you suddenly, your heart might break. So He strengthens you first by slowly detaching you. You begin to realize that staying costs you more than leaving ever could. You start to feel that your energy is being drained. Your kindness is being consumed. Your spirit is shrinking. And Allah never wants His servant to become smaller, to remain somewhere. Allah wants you to grow, to breathe, to feel alive. That is why peace matters so much. Peace is not comfort alone. Peace is alignment. When you are where Allah wants you to be, your heart rests, even if the situation is difficult. And when you are where Allah no longer wants you to stay, your heart becomes restless, even if everything looks fine. This is why some people live in luxury, yet feel empty. And others live in simplicity, yet feel calm. Peace is not connected to the place itself. It is connected to Allah's permission. My dear brothers and sisters, when Allah removes peace, He is also saving you from future pain you cannot yet see. There are outcomes Allah protects you from by making you uncomfortable early. There are conversations you will never have to endure. There are disappointments you will never experience. There are wounds that will never touch you, but only if you listen. Ignoring the loss of peace does not bring peace back. It only makes the heart tired. Some people stay too long, hoping peace will return, but peace does not return where Allah has already written an ending. Instead, Allah prepares something better elsewhere. And here is something very gentle to remember. Allah does not remove peace. until He knows you are strong enough to leave. The discomfort is proof that growth has already begun inside you. You are no longer the person who once belonged there. You have grown. Your heart has matured. Your soul has changed. So the place feels wrong, not because it is bad, but because you have outgrown it. This is why forcing yourself to stay feel painful. It is like wearing shoes that once fit you perfectly, but now hurt every step you take. The shoes did not change, you did. And Allah is simply saying, it is time, my dear soul. Do not fear leaving when peace is gone. Allah never removes peace without planning to return it in a better form. He may return it in a new place, a new environment, a new direction, or even a new version of yourself. But peace always comes back when you obey quietly. And one day you will sit in calm again, and you will remember how heavy your heart once felt. And you will whisper, Ya Allah, thank you for removing my peace there so I could find it here. May Allah give us hearts that listen, souls that trust, and courage to move gently when He guides us without words. When your dua changes without you noticing. Sometimes Allah changes your dua before He changes your situation. And this change happens so quietly that many people don't even notice it at first. You still raise your hands. You still speak to Allah. You still make dua. But the words coming from your heart are no longer the same. At the beginning you ask Allah to fix things. You say, Ya Allah, make it better. Ya Allah, change them. Ya Allah, help this work out. Your heart still believes that what you are in can be repaired. But then something shifts slowly without warning. Your dua changes. You no longer ask Allah to fix it. Instead, your heart quietly says, Ya Allah, take me out of this. Ya Allah, give me a way out. Ya Allah, remove me gently. And this change is not random. It is one of the clearest signs that Allah has already answered you, because Allah does not allow the heart to ask for escape unless escape is written. My dear soul, people often think dua is just words, but dua is direction. When Allah wants you to stay, your dua stays focused on patience, repair, and strength. When Allah wants you to leave, your dua shifts toward release. You may not even realize that your heart has stopped fighting. You stop saying, let this work somehow, and you begin saying, Ya Allah, I just want peace. This is not weakness. This is clarity. Your soul is no longer confused. It has recognized that the season has changed. And Allah, in His mercy, lets your heart accept the truth before your life changes. Sometimes people feel guilty about this. They say, why am I asking Allah to take me out? Why am I no longer trying? Am I giving up? My dear brothers and sisters, asking Allah for an exit is not giving up. It is trusting Allah's wisdom more than your attachment. Allah knows what you do not see. He knows what staying longer will cost you. He knows what damage will come quietly. He knows what pain you will face later. So He changes your dua early. Because if your dua did not change, you would remain stuck, begging for something Allah has already decided to end. My dear soul, notice how this dua comes with calm. You are not angry. You are not emotional. You are not desperate. You are simply tired in a peaceful way. You are not asking Allah to punish anyone. You are not asking Allah to prove anything. You are just asking to be moved with mercy. That is a very pure dua. And Allah loves that dua because it means your heart has stopped resisting His plan. It means you are no longer holding on out of fear. You are holding on to Allah instead. This is why at this stage, Allah often gives you silence from people, but closeness to Him. You may feel alone with others, but closer to Allah in your prayers. You talk to Allah more honestly. You cry without explaining why. You sit quietly after dua without asking for immediate answers. This is Allah strengthening you internally before He moves you externally. Because when Allah removes you from something, He does not want you to collapse. He wants you to walk out with dignity and faith. That is why He prepares your heart first. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes Allah answers dua, not by changing the situation, but by changing you. He removes your desire to fix it. He removes your hope in it. He removes your emotional dependence on it. And when that happens, leaving no longer feels scary. It feels natural. It feels like relief. And this is very important. If Allah wanted you to stay, your dua would keep pushing you to fight. But when Allah wants you to leave, your dua becomes soft. You stop forcing. You stop arguing with destiny. You stop begging for signs. You simply say, Ya Allah, I trust you. That trust is not accidental. It is planted by Allah Himself, because Allah never pulls someone out before making them ready. And when your dua changes, it means readiness has begun. You may not know where Allah is taking you. You may not see the next step yet. But Allah does not ask you to see the whole path. He only asks you to trust the one guiding you. And one day, when you are finally out, when peace returns, when your heart feels light again, you will look back and realize, Midward changed first because Allah had already written my exit. Let us continue gently, because this stage of dua is very delicate and many hearts misunderstand it. When your dua changes, Allah is not rejecting your effort. He is releasing you from something that was never meant to stay forever. At this point, something very quiet happens inside you. You stop chasing answers from people. You stop explaining yourself again and again. You stop hoping someone will suddenly change. Not because you are cold, but because your heart has reached honesty. You realize that you have been asking Allah to fix something that is already complete in its purpose. Every situation has a purpose. Some are meant to build you. Some are meant to teach you. Some are meant to reveal truths. And some are meant to end. When the purpose is fulfilled, Allah gently changes your dua. Because if your dua stayed the same, you would stay longer than you should. And staying longer than Allah allows always costs the heart. My dear soul, notice how your dua at this stage comes with less emotion and more peace. Earlier, your dua may have been heavy with tears, full of questions, full of fear. Now it is quiet. You say very little. Sometimes just one sentence. Sometimes no words at all. You sit in silence, and Allah understands everything. This silence is not distance from Allah. It is closeness. Because when the heart fully trusts Allah, it no longer needs to explain itself. Allah knows. At this stage, Allah also protects you from making emotional decisions. You are not running away. You are not reacting in anger. You are not burning bridges. Allah is guiding you slowly, so that when you leave clean. No guilt, no hatred, no regret. You leave knowing you did your best and Allah did the rest. This is why Allah changes your dua first. Because if He changed your situation suddenly, your heart would still be attached. So He removes the attachment first. You stop checking. You stop waiting. You stop hoping. Not in a painful way, but in a relieved way. You feel lighter even though nothing has changed yet. That lightness is a sign. It means Allah has taken the burden of your heart. You may still be physically there, but emotionally you are no longer tied. And Allah does this out of love, because leaving with attachment hurts, but leaving with acceptance heals. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes people around you will not understand this phase. They may say, why did you stop trying? Why are you so quiet now? Why don't you care anymore? But inside you know the truth. you do care. You just care about your faith and peace more. And that is not selfish. That is wisdom. Allah never asks you to destroy yourself, to prove loyalty. He asks you to protect the heart He entrusted to you. And when your dua changes, it means Allah has taken responsibility for the outcome. You are no longer forcing a result. You are surrendering to a better one. This surrender does not weaken you. It strengthens you, because now your reliance is not on people, not on situations, not on outcomes. It is on Allah alone. And Allah never disappoints a heart that trusts Him sincerely. There will come a moment, my dear soul, when Allah opens a new door. It may not look impressive at first. It may not feel exciting immediately, but peace will return. You will breathe deeply again. Your chest will feel open. Your prayers will feel light. And you will remember how your dua once changed quietly. You will smile and say, Ya Allah, you knew before I did. That is the beauty of Allah's guidance. He moves the heart before He moves the life. May Allah give us hearts that recognize when our dua changes, souls that surrender without fear, and peace that follows obedience. When you feel tired before you even arrive, sometimes the heart feels tired even before the body arrives. You are not yet there, but your chest already feels heavy. You think about going and your energy drops. You prepare yourself, yet something inside resists. And you ask yourself, why do I feel so tired already? I haven't even started. My dear soul, this tiredness is not physical. Sleep does not fix it. Rest does not remove it. Distraction does not help, because this tiredness lives deeper. It lives in the soul. Allah created the heart to recognize where it belongs. And when the heart knows it is not meant to stay somewhere anymore, it begins to feel tired, even before arrival. This is not laziness. This is not weakness. This is awareness. The soul is very honest. It does not pretend. The mind can argue. The body can obey. But the soul reacts immediately. You wake up knowing you have to go somewhere, and already your heart feels tight. You haven't spoken to anyone yet. You haven't faced anything yet. Yet you feel drained. My dear brothers and sisters, this is Allah guiding you quietly. If Allah wanted you to stay, your heart would feel strength before arrival, not exhaustion. Even difficult places, it feels bearable when Allah wants you there. But when Allah no longer wants you there, even easy moments feel heavy. You begin to notice that your joy fades before you even arrive. You force yourself to smile. You force yourself to be present. You force yourself to care. And forcing the heart is always painful. Allah does not ask you to force your soul. He asks you to listen to it. This tiredness is the soul saying, I am done. Not angrily, not loudly, just honestly. Many people ignore the sign. They say, I must be ungrateful. I should be stronger. I should push myself. But my dear soul, pushing the body while ignoring the soul creates inner damage. Allah does not guide through burnout. He guides through clarity. And clarity often begins with tiredness. Not tiredness of work, but tiredness of pretending. Pretending to be okay. Pretending to belong. Pretending to feel connected. You arrive somewhere and you already want to leave. Not because you hate it, but because your heart feels empty there. You sit among people, yet you feel alone. You listen, but nothing reaches you. You respond, but your heart is silent. This is not depression. This is disconnection. And Allah allows this feeling so you stop blaming yourself. You are not broken. You are transitioning. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah never keeps a servant where their soul is constantly tired, Because tired souls lose gratitude, lose patience, lose closeness to Allah. So Allah sends the signal early, before bitterness grows, before anger appears, before faith is affected. The tiredness before arrival is Allah saying, you are not meant to pour yourself here anymore. You have already given enough. You have already tried enough. You have already stayed long enough. Your soul is asking for rest, and rest does not always mean sleep. Sometimes rest means distance. Distance from people, distance from places, distance from expectations, distance from what drains you. Allah does not want you to collapse before you realize it is time to leave. So He makes your heart heavy before arrival. So you pause, so you reflect, so you listen. And one day when Allah moves you away, you will understand why your heart felt tired early. Because Allah was protecting you from staying too long. Let us continue, because this tiredness of the soul is something many people live with silently. When the heart feels tired before arrival, Allah is not punishing you. He is warning you gently. This tiredness grows when you ignore it. At first it is light. You feel a small heaviness. You brush it off. Then it becomes stronger. You start feeling drained more often. You lose excitement. Then it reaches a point where even good moments feel heavy. You laugh, but your heart does not laugh with you. You sit among people, but you feel distant. And the danger is this: if you stay too long in this state, you begin to lose yourself. You begin to question your worth. You begin to feel numb. You begin to feel spiritually dry. Allah does not want that for you. That is why this tiredness comes before arrival. It is Allah stopping you before damage begins. Many people think they are strong because they endure this feeling. But endurance without peace slowly breaks the heart. Allah does not measure strength by how much pain you can tolerate. He measures strength by how well you listen. Listening to the soul is not weakness. It is wisdom. When Allah wants you somewhere, even hardship feels meaningful. You feel tired physically, but your heart stays alive. But when Allah no longer wants you there, even comfort feels exhausting. That is the difference. My dear soul, notice how this tiredness disappears. When you imagine leaving, just thinking about distance brings relief. Just imagining freedom lightens your chest. This is not imagination. This is clarity. Allah allows you to taste peace early, so you recognize where it belongs. Peace is not random. It lives where Allah wants you to be. And when Allah removes peace from a place, He is guiding you toward it somewhere else. This tiredness is not asking you to run. It is asking you to be honest. Honest with yourself, honest with Allah. You cannot pour from an empty heart. You cannot heal while staying wounded. You cannot grow while shrinking inside. Allah does not call you away loudly. He calls you through fatigue. Fatigue of pretending, fatigue of forcing, fatigue of surviving instead of living. And when you finally listen, when you take a step back, when you allow space, your soul breathes. Your prayers feel lighter. Your chest feels open. Your heart remembers joy. And you realize something beautiful. The tiredness was never the problem. The problem was staying after Allah had already signaled completion. Some places are not meant to be permanent. Some chapters are not meant to be long. Some doors are meant to close quietly. And Allah loves you enough to make sure you leave before your heart breaks. One day you will arrive somewhere new and you will notice something. You will feel calm before arrival. You will feel energy instead of heaviness. You will feel peace instead of resistance. And you will smile because now you understand. Allah was guiding you all along through the tiredness you could not explain. May Allah give us hearts that listen to early signs, souls that choose peace and courage to leave gently when He calls us forward. When you begin to shrink to keep the peace, there is a pain that does not come from being attacked, but from slowly disappearing. It happens quietly. So quietly that many people do not even realize what is happening to them. You do not lose yourself all at once. You lose yourself in small pieces. You begin to speak less, not because you have nothing to say, but because saying it no longer feels safe. You begin to explain yourself more, not because you want understanding, but because you fear being misunderstood. You begin to adjust who you are, not because you are growing, but because you are trying to keep peace. And slowly, without noticing, you become smaller. This is one of the most dangerous places for the soul. Allah did not create you to slowly erase yourself just to remain somewhere. Yet many good people do this. They say, let me stay quiet. Let me not cause trouble. Let me be patient. And patience is beautiful, but patience does not mean self-erasure. There is a difference between patience and losing your voice. My dear soul, notice when you stop expressing what you truly feel. Notice when you hesitate before speaking your truth. Notice when you say it's fine, while your heart is breaking inside. That hesitation is not humility. It is fear. Fear of losing connection. Fear of conflict. Fear of being left. And Allah never asks you to live in fear to keep a place. When you belong somewhere, you do not need to shrink. You can breathe. You can speak. You can be honest. But when you begin to shrink, it is a sign that your soul is under pressure. You start editing yourself. You measure every word. You hide parts of who you are. You laugh carefully. You speak carefully. You exist carefully. And existing carefully is exhausting. This is how peace lives quietly. Because peace cannot live where the soul is caged. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah does not want you to become silent, to make others comfortable. Allah does not want you to become invisible, to keep something familiar. Your worth is not dependent on how small you can make yourself. If staying somewhere requires you to deem your feelings, hide your truth, or silence your heart, then Allah is not asking you to stay. He is warning you. Many people confuse shrinking with maturity. They say, I am just more calm now. I don't react anymore. But calmness comes with peace. Shrinking comes with heaviness. Calmness feels light. Shrinking feels tight. Calmness allows you to rest. Shrinking makes you tired. And Allah never replaces growth with suffocation. When Allah wants you somewhere, you feel safe to be yourself. Even disagreements feel respectful. Even silence feels calm. But when Allah no longer wants you there, your presence feels risky. You are careful not to upset, careful not to disappoint, careful not to be too much. My dear soul, you were never meant to be too much. You were meant to be whole. And when you begin to cut pieces of yourself to fit somewhere, that place is already harming you. Allah loves you too much to let you disappear slowly. That is why He sends this discomfort. He allows you to notice that you are shrinking. He allows you to feel that something is wrong. So you stop blaming yourself and start listening. Because shrinking today becomes resentment tomorrow. And resentment poisons the heart. Allah does not want resentment to grow inside you. So He warns you early. He makes staying uncomfortable before anger takes over. My dear brothers and sisters, and this is why many people feel relief just imagining distance. They feel lighter when they think about stepping back because the soul is tired of being compressed. Allah created the heart to expand, not to fold inward forever. And when expansion is no longer possible somewhere, leaving becomes mercy. This shrinking is not strength, it is survival. And Allah does not want you to only survive. He wants you to live with dignity. He wants your heart to feel safe again. He wants you to exist without fear. So when you notice yourself shrinking, do not ignore it. It is not a flaw. It is guidance. Let us continue gently, because this kind of pain is very quiet and many hearts carry it without words. When you keep shrinking, something dangerous begins to happen inside. You stop trusting your own feelings. You start questioning your reactions. You tell yourself, maybe I'm the problem. And slowly you disconnect from yourself. You no longer know what you truly want, because you have spent so long adjusting to what others expect. This is one of the heaviest burdens a soul can carry. Allah did not create your heart to doubt its own truth. When you begin to shrink, your prayers also change. You stop asking Allah for big things. You stop dreaming openly. You start praying quietly, carefully, as if you don't want to ask for too much. Not because Allah is small, but because you have been made to feel small. And my dear soul, this is not what Allah wants for you. Allah loves bold dua. He loves hearts that trust Him fully. He loves servants who come to Him honestly. But shrinking makes you afraid even in prayer. You feel like you are taking up too much space in conversations, in relationships, even in front of Allah. This is how shrinking slowly damages faith. Not suddenly, not clearly, but gently, until one day you feel far from yourself and confused about why. Allah sees this long before you do. That is why He removes peace, because peace cannot survive where dignity is being crushed. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah never asks you to stay silent forever. Silence can be wisdom for a moment, but silence should never erase your voice. When silence becomes permanent, it is no longer patience, it is fear. And fear should never be the reason you stay. Allah is Al-Latif, the most gentle. He does not guide by breaking you. He guides by warning you softly. The warning sounds like this. You feel uncomfortable being yourself. You feel tense speaking honestly. You feel relief when you imagine space. These are not random feelings. These are signs that your soul is asking for dignity. And dignity matters deeply in Islam. Allah honored the children of Adam. He did not create you to live dishonored inside. When you constantly lower yourself, you teach others how to treat you. But more dangerously, you teach your own heart that it deserves less. Allah never teaches the heart that lesson. So He intervenes. He makes staying heavy. So you will not lose yourself completely. Many people fear leaving at this stage. They say, what if I'm wrong? What if I regret it? What if I end up alone? My dear soul, loneliness with dignity is lighter than company with suffocation. Allah fills empty spaces with peace when they are emptied for His sake. And here is something very gentle to remember. When you leave a place where you were shrinking, you do not suddenly become loud. You become yourself again. Your voice returns naturally. Your laughter feels real. Your opinions feel safe. You stop editing every sentence. You stop rehearsing every thought. You breathe. That breathing is healing. And one day you will look back and realize how much energy you spent just trying to exist quietly. You will feel mercy for your past self. And you will thank Allah for pulling you away gently before you disappeared completely. My dear brothers and sisters, if you feel yourself shrinking, do not ignore it. It is not maturity. It is not growth. It is a sign that you are being compressed in a space that no longer fits you. Allah never keeps a servant where their soul must hide. He calls them out with wisdom. He calls them out with discomfort. He calls them out before the heart breaks. May Allah give us courage to protect the dignity He gave us, wisdom to leave places that require us to disappear, and peace that comes from standing fully as ourselves again When silence becomes your only safety, there comes a moment in life when you stop speaking, not because you have nothing to say, but because speaking no longer feels safe. You are still there, you are still present, but inside something has changed. You no longer explain yourself. You no longer defend your intentions. You no longer correct misunderstandings. Not because you suddenly agree, but because you are tired. This tiredness is not weakness. It is protection. When the heart realizes that every word costs too much energy, it chooses silence to survive. You begin to listen more than you speak. You nod instead of responding. You smile instead of sharing. And people may think you are calm, but inside you are guarding yourself. My dear soul, silence can be wisdom for a short time, but when silence becomes your only safety, it means something is wrong. Because Allah did not create your voice to be hidden forever. At first you tried to speak. You tried to explain your heart. You tried to make things clear. You tried to fix misunderstandings. But every time you spoke, you felt more drained. Your words were misunderstood. Your intentions were questioned. Your feelings were minimized. So slowly you learned something painful. You learned that silence hurts less. You learned that staying quiet protects your heart from disappointment. And this is where many good people get stuck. They think silence means peace. But silence born from fear is not peace. It is survival. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah sees when His servant has to silence themselves just to remain somewhere. And Allah does not like that. Because silence, when forced, slowly disconnects you from yourself. You stop sharing joy. You stop sharing pain. You stop sharing dreams. You become present but absent. You exist but you are not alive inside. And this is dangerous for the soul. Allah created the heart to express, to connect, to feel. When silence becomes your shield, it means your heart has already stepped back. Emotionally, you are no longer there. You are just waiting for permission to leave. But Allah does not rush His servant. He allows this silence to prepare you gently. Because if you left too quickly, you might leave with anger. And Allah wants you to leave with clarity. This silence is not meant to trap you. It is meant to wake you up. It shows you how much you have been carrying. It shows you that you have been swallowing pain instead of being heard. And Allah never asks you to swallow pain forever. My dear soul, notice how silence feels at this stage. It is heavy, it is tiring, it is lonely. You sit among people, yet you feel alone. You hear conversations, but you feel distant. You want to speak, but you don't have the strength anymore. This is the heart saying, I cannot fight anymore. And Allah listens to that because Allah does not demand constant struggle from the heart. He knows when enough is enough. That is why after prolonged silence, Allah often creates distance. Distance in communication, distance in connection, distance in presence. Not as punishment, but as mercy. Because distance protects. What silence was trying to save, my dear brothers and sisters, this silence also affects your relationship with Allah. You may still pray, you may still make dua, but your heart feels tired. You speak to Allah quietly, without words, without long requests. You just sit there, and Allah understands, because Allah knows that you have been quiet everywhere else too. This is not distance from Allah. This is exhaustion. And Allah is gentle with exhausted hearts. He does not push them harder. He guides them out. Silence becomes the final signal before departure. It is the heart saying, I have no more words here. And when words end, leaving becomes near. Many people stay silent for too long. They think they are being patient. They think they are being mature. But patience does not mean erasing your voice. Patience does not mean accepting emotional suffocation. Allah never praises silence that destroys the heart. He praises silence that comes with peace. And if your silence comes with heaviness, Allah is asking you to listen. Listen to the fatigue. Listen to the emptiness. Listen to the quiet pain. Because silence is not the solution. It is the sign. Let us continue. Because this silence carries a deep message, and many hearts live inside it for years without understanding why. When silence becomes your only safety, your heart slowly learns to hide. You stop reacting. You stop responding. You stop caring the way you once did. Not because you became cold, but because caring became painful. Every word felt risky. Every explanation felt wasted. Every attempt to be understood felt heavy. So the heart chose the safest option it knew, quiet. But quiet, when it comes from fear, slowly drains the soul. You begin to feel invisible even when you are present. You feel unheard even when people are listening. You feel alone even in company. And the most painful part is this: others may think you are fine. They may think you are calm. They may think you are unbothered. But Allah knows the truth. Allah sees that silence is costing you your joy, your expression, your light. Allah sees that you are holding back tears that deserve release. This is why Allah does not allow this silence to last forever. Because prolonged silence hardens the heart. You begin to feel numb, not sad, just empty. You stop feeling excitement. You stop feeling disappointment. You stop feeling much at all. And numbness is far more dangerous than pain. Pain still feels. Numbness disconnects. Allah does not want His servant to become numb to life. So He intervenes. He begins creating distance. Not loudly, not suddenly, but slowly. Conversations become shorter. Messages become fewer. Encounters feel awkward. This distance is not rejection. It is protection. Because Allah knows that silence was already a form of leaving. Your heart left long before your body did. And Allah simply allows your life to follow your heart. My dear soul, many people feel guilty at this stage. They say, I didn't say goodbye properly. I didn't explain myself. I just went quiet. But understand this gently. When silence is the only language left, Allah does not demand explanations. Because explanation require energy. And Allah knows how tired you were. Allah does not blame you for protecting your heart. He knows you tried. He knows you spoke. He knows you gave chances. And when words stopped, it meant you had reached your limit. Allah never punishes someone for reaching their limit. He rescues them. That is why after leaving, something beautiful happens. Your voice slowly returns. Not loudly, not dramatically, naturally. You speak without fear. You laugh without forcing. You share without rehearsing. You don't feel the need to explain every emotion. You don't feel the need to defend every intention. You simply exist. And that existence feels light. This is how you know that silence was never your personality. It was your shield. Once the danger was gone, the shield was no longer needed. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah never takes something away without replacing it with something better. He does not take your voice without planning to restore it. He does not allow silence without preparing peace afterward. And one day you will look back and realize silence was not my weakness. Silence was Allah's mercy. Silence was the bridge between where I was shrinking and where I could breathe again. You will thank Allah for allowing you to go quiet before you became bitter. Because bitterness damages faith, but quiet clarity protects it. Allah saved your heart by letting you fall silent instead of fall apart. My dear soul, if silence has become your safety, do not blame yourself. Listen to it. It is telling you that your heart needs space, not struggle. And Allah is the one who provides that space when the time is right. May Allah give us wisdom to recognize when silence is no longer patience, strength to leave without noise, and peace that returns when we no longer have to hide our voice. When your connection with Allah weakens there, sometimes the strongest warning Allah gives is not through people, not through events, but through your relationship with Him. You are still praying, you are still making dua, you are still remembering Allah, but something feels different. Your heart feels heavy when you pray there. Your chest feels tight when you raise your hands. Your words feel slow, forced, tired. You are doing the same actions, but the sweetness is gone. And this confuses many people. They say, why do I feel distant from Allah here? Why do my prayers feel blocked? Why does my heart feel dry? My dear soul, this is not because Allah moved away from you. Allah never moves away. This is because Allah is gently pulling you away from a place that is no longer good for your soul. Allah cares deeply about your heart. Your heart is where faith lives, and Allah will never keep you somewhere that slowly damages your connection with Him. When Allah wants you somewhere, even hardship brings you closer to Him. You may cry, but your tears feel light. You may struggle, but your heart feels alive. But when Allah no longer wants you there, even ease feels heavy. You pray, but your heart does not rest. You remember Allah, but your mind keeps drifting. You sit for dua, but you feel blocked. This is not a punishment. This is protection. Allah is saying, this place is costing you spiritually. And spiritual loss is far more dangerous than emotional loss. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah never sacrifices your iman for your comfort. He never says, stay there even if your heart grows distant from me. No. Allah values your connection with Him more than any place, more than any relationship, more than any situation. So when your faith begins to feel heavy there, Allah is warning you gently. Many people ignore this sign. They say, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Maybe my iman is weak. But my dear soul, weak iman feels different. Weak iman still wants Allah, but blocked iman feels restricted. You want closeness, but something holds you back. And Allah does not allow that restriction without reason, because Allah knows what you do not see. He knows how staying longer will slowly pull you away from Him. He knows how your heart will become distracted, how your prayers will become rushed, how your remembrance will become routine. And Allah loves you too much to let that happen. So He sends discomfort in worship, not to punish you, but to guide you. Allah is saying, your heart deserves better soil. Faith is like a plant. It cannot grow everywhere. Some environment nourish it, some slowly dry it out. And Allah in His mercy does not allow His servant to stay in dry soil forever. My dear brothers and sisters, notice how your heart feels after leaving that space. Even before you fully leave, just stepping away brings relief. Your prayers feel lighter. Your dua feels honest again. Your chest feels open. This is not coincidence. This is Allah showing you where your heart belongs. Allah never removes you from something good without guiding you to something better. But He guides gradually. He shows you the dryness before He shows you the garden. Because if He showed you the garden first, you might hesitate. So He makes the dryness clear. My dear soul, do not ignore spiritual heaviness. Emotional pain can heal. Financial loss can recover. But spiritual dryness, if ignored, slowly hardens the heart. Allah does not want that for you. So when you feel your connection with Allah weaken in a certain place, do not force yourself to stay. Staying out of fear is never obedience. Obedience is listening when Allah guides quietly. Allah does not ask you to sacrifice your closeness to Him, to prove patience. He asks you to protect your faith with wisdom. And sometimes wisdom means leaving, not angrily, not loudly, but gently, trusting that Allah sees what you cannot, trusting that Allah is moving you towards something that will bring you closer to Him. And one day when your prayers feel alive again, when your heart feels soft again, when your tears feel healing again, you will understand Allah was not pushing you away. He was pulling you closer. Let us continue softly, because this warning touches the most sacred place in a believer's life. The heart that turns to Allah. When your connection with Allah feels weak in a certain place, it is not accidental, it is not random, and it is not because Allah is displeased with you. Allah never abandons a heart that seeks Him. What happens instead is this: Allah begins to protect that heart. Staying too long in an environment that weakens your iman does something very dangerous. It does not break you suddenly. It slowly distracts you. You begin to rush your prayers, not intentionally, but because your heart feels heavy. You begin to delay remembrance. Not out of rejection, but out of exhaustion. You still believe. You still love Allah. But the closeness feels blocked. And my dear soul, distance from Allah does not always start with sin. Sometimes it starts with staying where your heart cannot breathe. Allah values your iman more than your comfort, more than your routine, more than your attachment. That is why when a place begins to weaken your spiritual strength, Allah sends a warning early. He lets worship feel difficult there. So you stop and ask yourself, why does my heart feel heavy here? Why do my prayers feel dry? Why do I feel spiritually tired? These questions are not doubts, they are guidance. Allah is saying, this place is not helping you grow closer to me. And Allah never keeps His servant. Where remembrance becomes a burden. My dear brothers and sisters, some people stay out of fear. Fear of change, fear of loneliness, fear of starting over. But fear is never the foundation of faith. Faith is built on trust. Trust that Allah knows what strengthens your heart and what weakens it. When Allah removes spiritual sweetness, He is not punishing you. He is saving you from spiritual loss. Because once iman becomes weak, everything else follows. Patience becomes difficult. Gratitude becomes heavy. Hope becomes quiet. And Allah does not want His servant to live like that. That is why sometimes Allah closes your heart to a place before He opens a door elsewhere. He makes worship feel uncomfortable there, so you do not settle. He makes remembrance feel blocked, so you do not attach. And when you finally step away, even slightly, you feel relief. Your dua becomes honest again. Your tears feel lighter. Your chest opens. That relief is a gift. It is Allah confirming that you listened correctly. My dear soul, leaving something that weakens your iman is not abandonment. It is worship. It is choosing Allah over familiarity. It is choosing faith over fear. And Allah never lets that choice go unrewarded. He replaces dryness with softness. He replaces heaviness with light. He replaces confusion with clarity. Sometimes immediately, sometimes slowly, but always surely. One day, you will sit in prayer again and feel your heart alive. You will remember Allah and feel peace instead of pressure. And you will understand why Allah made you uncomfortable before. He was protecting the most precious thing you have, your connection with Him. My dear brothers and sisters, and never ignore spiritual heaviness. It is one of Allah's clearest signals. When your heart cannot remember Allah freely somewhere, Allah is inviting you elsewhere. And when you choose Allah, Allah always chooses you. May Allah grant us hearts that protect their iman, souls that trust His quiet guidance, and peace that returns when we walk toward Him instead of fear. When Allah removes the desire, not the door. Sometimes Allah does not close a door loudly. He leaves it open. And this is what confuses the heart. Because we think, if the door is still open, maybe I should stay. If nothing has ended clearly, maybe I should keep trying. If Allah wanted me to leave, He would make it obvious. But Allah's wisdom is deeper than that. Sometimes Allah leaves the door open, but quietly removes your desire to walk through it. You still can stay, but you no longer want to. And this is one of the most merciful forms of guidance. Because if Allah closed the door suddenly, you might feel rejected. You might feel hurt. You might feel pushed away. So instead, Allah removes attachment. You wake up one day and realize you are no longer excited. You are no longer emotionally invested. You are no longer trying to make things work. Not because you became careless, but because your heart has changed. This change is subtle. There is no anger. There is no drama. There is no hatred. Just fading interest. And many people feel guilty about this. They say, why don't I care like I used to? Why am I not trying anymore? Why does this feel heavy now? My dear soul, this is not laziness. This is alignment. Allah is gently loosening your grip so you don't have to force yourself to let go. Because forcing detachment hurts. But natural detachment heals. When Allah removes desire, He removes the pain of separation. You stop checking. You stop waiting. You stop hoping something will suddenly change. And this is not coldness. This is mercy. Because attachment is what causes suffering. When attachment fades, peace quietly enters. You still remember. You still care in a human way. But you are no longer bound. And Allah does this because He knows how the heart works. If Allah closed the door while your heart was still attached, you would stand outside it crying. So He removes the attachment first. Then when the door finally closes, you are already free. My dear brothers and sisters, notice how this feels inside. You no longer feel pulled. You no longer feel anxious. You no longer feel restless. You feel neutral. And neutrality is powerful. It means the heart is no longer chained. You can walk away without bitterness. You can leave without hatred. You can move forward without regret. This is Allah's gentleness. Because Allah does not want you to leave broken. He wants you to leave whole. This is why sometimes Allah delays endings. Not because He wants you to suffer, but because He wants to heal attachment first. My dear soul, this removal of desire often comes quietly at night. You lie down and realize you no longer replay conversations. You no longer imagine different outcomes. You no longer beg Allah to fix it. You just release. And release feels like relief. That relief is not indifference. It is surrender. Surrender to Allah's wisdom. Surrender to the truth that some chapters are complete. Allah knows when the lesson is over. And when it is, He does not keep you emotionally tied. He removed desire so you can walk forward lightly. This is why after this stage, leaving does not feel like loss. It feels like space. Space to breathe, space to think, space to grow. And Allah always fills space created for Him with something better. My dear brothers and sisters, do not chase desire. Once Allah has taken it away, trying to revive attachment after Allah removes it only brings pain. Trust that Allah removed it for your protection, because if He did not, you would remain stuck. Attachment keeps people trapped in places they have already outgrown. Allah frees you first, then He moves you. And one day you will look back and say, Allah made it easy for me to leave. Because the hardest part, attachment, was already removed. When you realize you've already left inside, there comes a moment that is very quiet. So quiet that many people miss it completely. Nothing dramatic happens. No argument, no announcement, no clear ending. Yet something inside you changes forever. You realize you are still present with your body, but your heart is no longer there. You sit where you always sat, but you don't feel there anymore. You listen, but the words do not reach you. You respond, but your heart is absent. And this realization can be frightening at first, because you ask yourself, when did this happen? How did I get here? Why do I feel so far away? My dear soul, this did not happen suddenly. It happened slowly over time. Allah prepared your heart gently. Every disappointment you swallowed, every moment you stayed silent, every time you chose patience over pain, all of it moved your heart one step back. Until one day, you noticed you were already gone inside. This is not numbness. This is completion. The heart leaves when the lesson is finished. And Allah is the one who decides when a lesson is complete. Many people confuse this stage with coldness. They say, I don't feel anything anymore. I'm not happy, but I'm not sad either. You just feel distant. But distance here is not loss. It is protection. Allah distances the heart before the situation harms it further. Because if the heart stayed fully present, it would break. So Allah gently removes it first. You are still polite, still respectful, still calm. But inside, you are no longer attached. You no longer imagine a future there. You no longer fear losing it. You no longer feel pulled. This is Allah's mercy. Because fear is tied to attachment. When attachment leaves and fear follows, and Allah does not want you to live in fear. My dear brothers and sisters, this stage often comes after a long struggle. You tried to fix things. You tried to be patient. You tried to stay hopeful. But the heart grew tired, not angry, just tired. And Allah listened. So He allowed the heart to step back. This stepping back is not rejection. It is relief. You feel lighter. Even though nothing has changed outwardly, you breathe deeper. You sleep better. You think more clearly. That lightness is a sign. It means Allah has taken the burden off your heart. You may still be there physically, but emotionally, you are free. And freedom feels strange at first because you were used to carrying weight. Now that the weight is gone, you don't know what to do with the space. But Allah knows. He always knows. My dear soul, this is also why leaving after this stage feels calm. There is no explosion, no dramatic goodbye, no burning bridges, just quiet movement, just distance growing naturally, just the body catching up to where the heart already is. And Allah loves this kind of leaving because it leaves no scars, no hatred, no bitterness, no regret, only understanding. Many people try to force themselves to feel again at this stage. They say, why don't I care? Why am I not emotional? Why am I so calm? But calm here is not emptiness. It is acceptance. Acceptance that this chapter is done. Acceptance that staying longer would only reopen wounds. Acceptance that Allah has already written the exit. My dear brothers and sisters, when the heart leaves first, it is Allah protecting your dignity, because leaving emotionally first prevents leaving angrily later, and anger destroys faith. So Allah removes emotion gently. He cools the heart before He moves the body. And one day, when you finally step away completely, you will realize something beautiful. You did not lose anything. You were saved. Saved from forcing yourself to stay. Saved from becoming bitter. Saved from breaking inside. Allah carried your heart out quietly, so you would not bleed on the way out. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. This is Allah's care. Let us continue gently, because this stage is very sacred and Allah handles it with the most care. When your heart has already left, Allah does not rush your body, because if the body moved too quickly, the heart might feel shocked. So Allah allows alignment to happen slowly. This is why at this stage you feel strangely calm, not happy, not sad, just calm. And many people become afraid of this calm. They say, why am I not emotional anymore? Why don't I feel pain like before? Why am I not reacting? My dear soul, this calm is not emptiness. It is Allah settling your heart so you don't leave in pieces. Earlier, your heart was full of questions. Then it was full of pain. Then it was full of silence. Now it is full of acceptance. Acceptance does not shout. It does not cry loudly. It simply rests. This is Allah saying, you have carried enough. When the heart leaves first, it means Allah has already removed the burden that was weighing you down. You are no longer fighting reality. You are no longer forcing outcomes. You are no longer asking why every night. You are simply letting things be. This does not mean you stopped caring. It means you stopped hurting yourself. Allah never wants His servant to remain emotionally exposed in a place that keeps cutting them. So He pulls the heart back first, like a shield. And once the heart is safe, the body can move without bleeding. This is why after this stage, even if something painful happens, it does not break you the same way. You feel it, but it does not consume you, because Allah has already strengthened you. My dear brothers and sisters, this is also why guilt disappears here. Earlier, you felt guilty for wanting distance. Earlier, you felt guilty for changing. Earlier, you questioned yourself. Now, the guilt is gone, because Allah does not leave guilt. In a heart, He has already guided. You understand that you did your best. You understand that staying longer would have damaged you. And this understanding brings peace. You stop replaying old conversations. You stop imagining different endings. You stop hoping for closure from people, because Allah has already given you closure inside. Closure does not always come from answers. Sometimes it comes from release, and Allah is the one who grants it. My dear soul, of this stage is when Allah protects your dignity the most. Because if you left while emotionally attached, you might have begged, you might have explained too much, you might have compromised yourself. But now you leave quietly, with respect, with boundaries, with calm. This is strength, this is maturity, this is Allah's wisdom. And after this, something very beautiful happens. Allah begins to refill the heart, not with the same attachment, not with the same people, not with the same place, but with peace. You begin to enjoy simple things again. Your prayers feel softer. Your sleep feels deeper. Your chest feels open. You feel present in your own life again. And one day you will realize that you are standing somewhere new, not just physically, but internally. You are no longer the version of yourself that was always surviving. You are becoming the version that is finally living. And you will look back not with sadness, but with gratitude. You will say, Allah took my heart out first, so I wouldn't be destroyed when I left. Oh, my dear brothers and sisters, if you are in this stage right now, do not rush yourself. Do not force emotions to return. Do not question the calm. Allah knows exactly what He is doing. He is not ending you. He is freeing you. And freedom at first feels quiet, but soon it feels like peace. May Allah protect our hearts before they break, guide us before we are lost, and give us endings that heal instead of harm. Before you close this reminder, I want you to sit with one truth. Everything you felt while listening today was not accidental. That quiet heaviness you couldn't explain, that restlessness you thought was confusion, that distance you felt growing inside you, it was never because you were weak. It was because Allah was gentle with you. Allah did not break you to move you. He did not hurt you to guide you. He did not embarrass you to teach you. He whispered instead. He removed your peace before He removed the place. He loosened your attachment before He closed the door. He prepared your heart before He changed your path. So you wouldn't leave angry. So you wouldn't leave bitter. So you wouldn't leave broken. My dear soul, Allah never makes someone uncomfortable unless He's protecting them from something they cannot yet see. And if your heart feels lighter right now, that is not emotion. That is recognition. It means your soul understood something your mind has been fighting for a long time. You are not late. You are not lost. And you are not being punished. You are being redirected with mercy. Trust Allah enough to stop forcing what He has already released. Trust Him enough to leave gently what no longer holds your peace. And know this with certainty, Allah never takes you away from something without leading you towards something that allows your soul to breathe again. If this message stayed with you till the end, then Allah wanted to remind you of one thing tonight. You are not walking away from peace. You are finally walking toward it. May Allah replace every heaviness with calm, every ending with clarity, and every step you take with peace in your heart.